Whole new setup. I don't even know what to do with my hands. What are we doing?
What are you doing? You're just kind of there. Yeah.
Yeah. Scene 81.
Missed that.
3.8 out of 5.
Whoa, no.
That just doesn't work for us.
Sound, speeding, camera, rolling.
Scene 81.
Take 303, mark.
No half, no half stars on take 303. No half, no half, no half stars on take 303. Alright, No half, no half stars on take 303.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by 4-Way Media, the podcast with the guy who knows a lot about film.
And his friend.
I'm Nick Molinari.
I'm JP Brooks. We're talking everything film and television. And today we are talking about Alien Romulus.
But first, even before we jump into some cinematic news, JP, you're back.
I am back from vacation. It rained the entire week I was on it in classic, just the last year fashion. But no, we're back. It's good. Hanging out.
I hear you bought a new suit.
I bought a ghillie suit. Due to the rain, I hid it in the woods and it just got rained on the entire week.
I'm surprised you didn't lose it. But also things changed here a little bit, you noticed.
Yeah, it's a new setup. I think it's better. I just don't like that we're looking right at the camera at all. I mean, this was like to make content, right? Just imagine guys doing this by themselves, just talking into a camera. That is some sick, weird meta shit that I can't handle.
Just being alone in a room and just staring that down and just talking and being like, hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, welcome back to... And
Aren't
there's
you glad
nobody.
that we...
There's literally no one.
Aren't you glad we never did that for the podcast? We were always like very like stern about treating it like a TV show in a sense. It's like, welcome to Take 303. Like, we never like, hey guys, what's up? It's your boys Nick and Joe.
Welcome back, Take 303.
Nobody has ever talked like that on YouTube, but yeah.
They could. Well, let's start off with some cinematic news.
Cinematic news.
I missed that.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Thank you.
That was a good one today. George Clooney, your boy.
I do love me some George.
He told my boy Quentin Tarantino to fuck off.
Hell yeah! Why'd he tell him that?
Apparently, Quentin Tarantino was doing an interview when he was naming movie stars, and he's listing through a bunch of the stars. He gets up to the guy goes, well, what about George? And he's like, he's not much of a movie star. And George Clooney was, fuck off.
George Clooney is a pretty big deal. Quentin.
Yeah, he's clearly a star.
That's a bad thing.
Like when you think of movie stars, you think like Tom Cruise, George Clooney. Like that's like a thing. Brad Pitt. Like those are like the top. Leonardo DiCaprio. These are stars.
I'm known to have plenty of hot takes. That's a pretty hot one.
Avatar 3 just got its title. It's called Avatar Fire and Ash.
Dude, they've been having enough problems like relating to the animated Avatar. The last one was water, fire. Now they got to do wind and air bending and then earth bending.
It's such a ripoff. And what's funny is even on a side topic, Michelle Yeoh, she's in the series. And she was giving an interview, and she was like, I can't speak on 3 because I'm only in 4 and 5. And I'm like, when are these coming out?
I thank God. I'm done.
Other things to look forward to. The Incredibles 3 is greenlit.
Okay. I'm looking, okay.
Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
It's coming out this year. It was supposed to come out last year. Hopefully we can get Mike on that episode. Because he wanted to do that last year. It's officially R-rated for strong violence and language. Trying to follow in the Deadpool path, possibly.
Wow.
Last in cinematic news, something that I wanted to talk about right before you went on break.
Okay.
The Russo brothers announced like they're going to do Doctor Doom, and there's only one actor that could personify him the best because they needed, quote, the best actor in the world to play Doctor Doom. Here's the thing. I love Robert Downey Jr. Great guy. Never met him in person, but seems like a great guy. Great actor? Yes. He did an amazing job in Oppenheimer. I loved him in Chaplin. Great actor. But the best in the world? That's where I'm on the fence here because here's the thing. Let's be a little bit narcissistic for a second and just assume that the best actor in the world is in the United States.
I think you say in this room. I'm like, let's really be narcissistic. It's in this room.
Really narcissistic.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just assume that they definitely come from the United States. Is it Robert Downey Jr.?
No. And here's why. I think Robert Downey Jr., before Oppenheimer, he kind of plays the same guy, right? Like, he has depth to him.
Post Iron Man, he was playing Iron Man in life,
Yeah.
in all of his movies.
Just in everything. He's just playing himself.
He's just playing Iron Man. I remember the trailer for The Judge. I don't know if you saw that one.
I've seen The Judge.
Yeah. He's Iron Man in that movie. He didn't,
Iron Man who sleeps around with people. Anyway. If I had to pick, Josh Brolin, I think is a better actor than him.
If I had to pick, I would have went even past the world of superheroes. I would have went with Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't associate Josh Brolin with superhero movies.
Oh, okay.
I associate Josh
you do
Brolin.
Cowboys?
Yeah,
True
like,
Grit?
yeah.
After the break, we will be talking about Alien Romulus.
Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a dream. Something that needs to be captured on the big screen. We at Fort Wayne Media love taking your passion projects and bringing them to life, whether you're a passionate artist or a small business owner. With expert videography and photography, we're going to take what you love to do, what you love to make, and transform it into a cinematic experience. Fort Wayne Media.
And we're back, and we're talking about Alien Romulus, written and directed by Fede Alvarez, starring Kaylee Spaney, David Johnson, Archie Renaud, Isabella Marced, Spike Fern, and Aileen Wu.
Discount younger version Jennifer Lawrence stars as Rain in Alien Romulus. She works in a mining colony and seeks a better life when her AI android brother decide to go on a ragtag mission to steal some cryo sleep bullshit that'll get them to a nicer planet where they don't have to mine. However, things go horribly wrong as complications arise in the old abandoned space station where they plan to rob the cryo bullshit. There's an AI. This is really might just be a subtle commentary on AI. That's really what I think it is, what I actually think it's about, but that's Alien Romulus. It's about a girl named Rain. You don't know anybody's name. There are no characters. They just die. The best character in the movie is AI, ironically, which I'm not sure what to do with that. The actor for the AI guy was very good. Anyway, it's been a while, but hey guys, there's your recap. What were the recaps like while I was gone?
That was me. I didn't even finish my explanation. He just told me I was wrong.
Yeah, you can see, but Bob just got to push it. Bob, I'm gonna finish it, Bob. I'm gonna finish it. You just
Yeah.
gotta, shh. Yeah.
Yeah, Alien Romulus is the 9th movie in the Alien franchise. Now, before we...
This says 7th installment.
Okay, so...
Let's start with that. You said 9.
You're going to trust everything on Wikipedia?
I donate. I'm actually 2% of the people who receive. I just got to.
Do you donate to
Wikipedia?
Wikipedia?
I do donate to Wikipedia. You know how many fucking how many papers got through me with this fucking site?
We'll cut that. If they're not counting the spin-off series, which might... I'm counting Alien versus Predator 1 and 2, so they're probably not counting that.
I'd like to ban a word in the Alien franchise and serves as a standalone interquel. That word needs to be removed from the English language now.
I started seeing that word today because it's not a prequel, it's not a sequel, it's in the middle. So just a quick lore dump before we get into Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about. I've only seen Alien vs Predator. That is it. I've seen obviously some of the iconic scenes from Alien.
Yeah.
But Nick is the expert here. Nick, give me the rundown. What do I need to know?
Okay, there's not too much you need to know since this is an interquel. This movie takes place after the first movie, so really, if you need a recap, you only need to watch the first movie. So they did you a solid there. 20th Century Fox, you're welcome. But if you're interested in the series, it is a very interesting and gorgeous series in terms of lore, especially if you're into sci-fi. There's 4 original Alien films that take place from the 70s to the 80s. This all takes place in the future, but release-wise. And in the in the first 4 movies, it follows different groups of scientists and colonial marines as they're discovering and fighting an alien force that they find on ships from a distant world. Now, later on, they intertwine the series with Predator because it was a 20th Century Fox film also. Predator in... have you seen the Predator movies?
The original with Arnold. That's it.
Did you see the second one?
What happens in the second one?
They go to the concrete jungle and bring it to the streets of LA.
Oh, 15 minutes and I was done.
Yeah,
I was out.
All right. So,
I remember how that started. I was out.
It's hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. But while they're in LA, there's an interesting scene where in the spaceship of the Predator, the lore of the Predators, they go from world to world and they're hunting different beings for sport, basically. And then they collect them the same way that we collect like deer heads. And in one of the ships, they have the head of an alien from Alien. So that's how they tied in the two franchises.
Easter egg. An Easter egg.
Yeah. It was never originally intended with the first film, but
Right.
in the second one, they were like, let's toss this in the background. It won't be anything.
Because it's owned by the same company?
Yes.
So they have the rights to the...
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
And then later on, when they were like, we really got to milk this cow, Alien vs. Predator happens because I think it was right after like Freddy vs. Jason. There were a lot of these movies.
2004. Yeah,
Yep.
that's prime.
Yep. So
yeah.
right there. I think it was literally the next year. So Alien vs. Predator comes out, then Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
3 years later.
They fight again.
Christmas.
Then you have the prequels, which is Prometheus and Alien Covenant. These both take place before the original series, and it takes place at like the dawn of time with like super proto-humans, and that's where they invent like they discover the black goo that then creates the aliens that we know, the xenomorphs and the face huggers, who could have gotten a better name. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
So Ridley Scott, the only reason I know the name is because he made the first one.
Yes.
He didn't make the next three.
No.
And then he made the prequels.
Yes.
But those are dog.
Prometheus is dog, but some people will argue that Prometheus is sci-fi at its peak.
I have to watch Prometheus.
So I think actually you might enjoy it because the thing is there aren't really aliens in Prometheus.
Right, well, it's the beginning.
Yeah, it's about the lore of them and how they're created, and it deals a lot with humanity because the whole idea was like they wanted to end humanity because they were getting too destructive. And there's little hints throughout this movie as well as the other movies that humans have destroyed their own planets.
Right.
And this was like a means to an end to create a perfect being that wouldn't destroy things and stuff like that.
Okay, I could see. Oh, yeah, I probably might.
So it gets very philosophical.
I would enjoy
and
that,
less
yeah.
action, which is why a lot of people were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Because at its core, Alien, the original, from what I understand, is a, survive monster ship craziness.
Yes.
And which seems like, if I'm not, based on what you've been saying in the car and back home, it seems like this movie, Romulus, really emulates the first one in the heart of the franchise, which is monsters, shooting stuff, hiding, running, escaping, creepy crap.
This is Jaws in space. It is very slow. There was a kid in front of us during this movie, and we missed at least the first 30 minutes. So I really, my score for this movie went so up and down because I really just didn't understand what was going on in certain scenes because of this kid, not because of the movie. I was just thinking like, kids these days, they need the movies faster. I was like, this kid would not survive the original.
Also, I'm going this with just my little knowledge of the footage of like clips I see on the internet of the original Aliens. It's pretty graphic. Like, yeah, I don't know why you would ever bring any child.
I was so surprised. I was like, this is R-rated, and this looks like an iPad kid in front of us. I was like, he's not making it. And then he didn't make it. What was it, 30, 40 minutes?
30 minutes and gone.
Yeah.
And he was on his phone the whole time, was making noise. So annoying.
Yeah, so thank God that he left. But anyways, so this movie is really like an updated version, and this movie is directed by Fede Alvarez. Do you recognize the name?
No, only because I clicked on his name on the Wikipedia.
Okay, so
he did Don't Breathe.
Yes. So he did Don't Breathe, one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but also he did the reboot of Evil Dead, which I consider one of the best reboots. I don't understand the word reboot. If we're going to poke fun at vocabulary here, interquel is one of them, but reboot's another one. A reboot is also a remake. I don't understand the difference. But anyways, this is a person who really understands honoring a series and paying homage to a series, leaving Easter eggs, but also just updating a story for a new audience. And I was really excited for this movie when I started seeing the trailers for it, specifically because I saw this guy's name on it. So what were your first thoughts?
Good news. It might be the 7th or 8th movie, but I know nothing about aliens. Only like some cultural knowledge. I know what they look like because I've seen Alien vs. Predator. they're just it's just crazy for me to think like how much the Alien has had an impact on culture, like how much people just love this freaking movie.
Yeah, this and Predator, among many other films of that time, the iconography, the image of the alien is so iconic.
Yeah, and so I mean, if there's one moment in the movie where they do the classic alien on one side, human face, super zoomed in, like I've seen that everywhere. Like it's impossible. It's impossible if you watch any movies or do anything not to see it. So it's really cool to see it. But the good news is, even if you haven't seen any of the Aliens movies, you can watch this, even though it's an integral prequel, sequel, suck my dick hole. It's, you know what it is? It stands on its own. Yes, there's a lot of information. I'm sure there's lots of Easter eggs. You saw, I said, they zoom in so many times on names and things that have been destroyed, probably things from the past movies, like you know what it looks like beforehand and all this. All that's probably there. I didn't see it, and I didn't have to see it. Which is, you can't ask that. You can't ask for more, because it's its own thing. It's about these people going through a thing, and it's probably really awesome for people like you who know the history. I still had a good time regardless.
Yeah, and there were actually also a lot of surprises that I was really excited about. I was a little bit afraid of them at the same time, one of which is the main cast. Never in the history of Aliens did it have to do with kids. I mean, to us, like, we're in our 30s, so we see kids in their 20s and we're like, those are kids.
Youngins,
like those are teens. But like I knew like a couple of the actors, and I know they're like early 20s, but I've never seen that before. Usually they're all in their 30s or a little bit older. They're all established scientists or Marines, and this really did feel like a bunch of like street kids that were in the mining
in
system.
too deep, way over their head.
And then it felt very similar to the beginning of Don't Breathe.
Kind of felt like Goonies. Like a really fucked up Goonies.
And that's it. Kind of still gave that 80s kind of vibe to it. So that I did enjoy. I was just worried that it would turn into like a teen slasher thing, and it didn't, because it still kept to its roots. There were a lot more aliens in this one than the original.
But I think even as someone who like figure out, okay, clearly aliens have already been here, I think they get away, like,
No,
it makes sense.
It made sense because the thing here, as a not a remake but an interquel and more of a reboot, if you will. Words. It did make sense for the time, because they also did explain there was a lot of exposition there. They really like slipped in very easily.
Hit it very well.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like exposition.
Didn't feel like it.
Because you know what it is? Because for our characters, they're just as lost
They're
as
learning
we.
it. Yeah.
Because I think the annoying part about scientists in these kind of movies is they like they calculate it. These kids are literally just like, we just need to get out, and we have no idea what's going
Yeah,
on.
the first one, the characters do a lot of stupid things, and especially in Romulus, there are many stupid decisions that they make. But I can kind of forgive them because they're kids on an alien ship when they had no idea there would be aliens. So like, what would they do, really?
Yeah.
But in the original, they were scientists. And there's a scene where one of the face huggers like really just grasps onto one of the scientists. They're just knocked out cold. They put them on the table. They're like, yeah, let's cut this bad boy off. And they get right in there with their face. And I'm like, you just saw what that thing does. Why would you go up to there with bare hands? You're
No gloves.
raw dog it?
No gloves.
That's wild. How do you feel about the cast?
Nobody's annoying me. I do think nobody's doing a bad job here. I really, Chris has said it in the car, I really liked whoever played the AI robot guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough to do. You're the same guy, but when we watch the chip go in, it actually feels like a character shift.
Yeah. I did like that duality. It kind of reminded me of like James McAvoy in Split.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, because or honestly, Face Off, where you really do believe that they did replace their faces. Shout out Nicolas Cage. But I also liked Kaylee Spaney. She's in a couple things now. I haven't.
She discount Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
She really does look like Jennifer Lawrence, though.
She does.
Like in Mayo scenes, I'm like, J-Law? I really thought they like, somehow I'm like, that's not Jennifer Lawrence.
They de-aged her?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought she did a good job. I think the guys outside of the robot, they were just in the
They're
background.
there. It's a horror movie. They're doing their job.
Somebody has to die first.
The dickhead dies the way you think the dickhead's gonna die. And the main guy, he's not winning any Oscars, but he doesn't sound like an idiot. He doesn't act like an idiot for the most part. That, I think, for unknown horror people, that's like really good. I hope the AI guy gets more work because of it, though. I feel like he did a great job.
Yeah.
The gun scene, the time, if you shoot it depressurized, then you realize, like, I think he's just...
That actually was one of my favorite scenes, the zero gravity on and off thing. And
that was pretty clever.
That I felt like was one of the better foreshadowings I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Outside of
they hit it well. Yeah. They really they saved that.
I think that was the best callback since Challengers that I've seen. The heat signature sequence.
That was good. That was literally the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that was another, it was very good at building the tension.
Yeah. Because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
The movie's fucking called Alien.
Even with the original, as slow as it was, once they actually have the face hugger shoot out, it takes off. It literally doesn't slow down. And the same thing, I think, with this one, where once they actually encounter the aliens,
it doesn't stop.
It just goes.
When things go wrong, it's wrong, and it never stops being wrong.
There's only one scene where they slow it down, where they're waiting for the temperature to change, and I think that's their only break.
And that's the only time for real,
that's legitimately their only break.
The first 30 minutes is setting all the character pieces up, getting to know, and so when everything happens, it feels justified. If that's one thing I give this movie. It's funny, the more we talk about this movie, even though I think overall as an experience, not...
we kept doing Italian hands. We were like, what are they doing?
What are they doing? Even though overall as an experience, I'm not saying this is the greatest movie or movie of the summer. But I think from a writing perspective and from a story perspective, to do a reboot, put it like this is your 7th one, I don't know if they're playing it safe, which maybe they are a little bit.
I think it was a safe addition.
But they do enough cool shit in the movie that it makes it feel like its own. There's your gravity stuff, that elevator sequence. There's enough cool things, I think, happening here that this is what I kind of expected. And I'm just glad finally my expectations were met.
Well, here's the thing. The franchise itself has gone through so many different timelines, considering this is an interquel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug that word as many times.
Get an interquel counter on the fucking.
Get me a shirt that says interquel. Because this movie takes place in the future and they do go back to a prequel eventually. It's the Rogue One situation again. Greatest prequel of all time.
Greatest Star Wars movie of all time. Not even a question, but continue.
It's hard to surprise people when they know what's coming. So that's another tricky thing where as the Alien movies go on, and there's actually a TV show greenlit already for next year, it's Aliens Earth. It's the first time that one of these movies or TV shows will take place on Earth. We ourselves are moving on from 1979 to 2024. Our technology gets better. So it's harder to have that not conflict with the story as they're telling stories in the past. Because technically, the things that happen in Alien 4 are supposed to be more advanced than what we saw tonight. But the thing is CGI has gotten way better in the last 20 years. So it's funny, but looking at the original this morning and seeing this now, there actually wasn't too much of a difference. So the little differences were the little alien that pops out of the stomach, that was done way better. It looks more realistic. It's more fluid because I think they did it with a puppet. So it literally looks like it looks like a
I can only imagine.
R-rated Sesame Street thing coming out of the chest. But the big alien looked really great because it was animatronic, but they also had a guy in a suit playing the alien.
Oh, that's why it looks so good.
Yeah. So they had a 7-foot dude that with skinny arms in the suit, and he actually it was contorted, so he couldn't even sit properly during breaks and stuff like that. CGI was not overdone. It looks gorgeous, and I think it really complements the movie so well. The rain sequence looked really nice. A lot of the cinematography looks really great, and I even got a little crane shot action in there. It wasn't a crane shot.
Nick. I knew you were gonna. I said there's no way he's not talking about that fucking crane shot.
That dolly shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Oh, man, those dolly shots through the corridors, that was my crane shot.
Yeah. The sound design of being outside of space and they really, tuned that up. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that.
I didn't like how there was a lot of fire in space, but that's just me.
So, I think we've talked about all the good stuff. I'm ready for the bad stuff, because there is some bad.
The characters, just right off the bat, make a lot of bad decisions. A lot of stupid mistakes.
And we don't care about most of them.
Not most of them, but there are...
The ones that die early, I'm glad they died early. And the ones that stayed around, I'm glad they stayed around.
Yeah. There's some dialogue here and there that doesn't quite work, I will say.
Yeah.
But nothing too memorable that I can actually quote it right now. Like, it's not like, Madam Web where we were spitting off line readings. Like,
Oh, man.
nothing that atrocious. But I think there are a couple lines here that could have been Joey chopped out.
Definitely Joey Chops could have come to the room and really crushed it.
I really hope somebody in Hollywood is listening to these podcasts and they're like, who is this Joey Chops? And when can we hire him?
When can we hire him, yeah. I also didn't enjoy how long this movie was. I feel like it could have been ended many times, and then there's just more. The surprises are kind of good. I'm not upset at the surprises. I'm just upset at, like, the elevator sequence, the zero gravity. That was awesome. And you just had to leave it there.
So that's the thing. That's when I said when we left the theater that there were so many callbacks, almost shot for shot, beat by beat for the original. That's how the original was too, where there was this big finale. They thought they got rid of the alien, and then boom, it's back in the ship. And then we have to have one more showdown, and then she has to like cool everything down, get into the suit, eject it from the ship. It was basically the same idea, just done in a different way on a bigger budget. But yeah,
and a freakazoid of an alien at the end. Has there ever been anything like that in the Alien franchise? That is disgusting.
Kind of, sort of. It looked like a mix between the original superhumans mixed in with an alien. I haven't seen that one in particular, but it looked really good, I will say.
Yeah, freaky as hell.
Yeah.
Because everything, especially all of the blood, guts, and gore in this, looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Krista went with us, and she was hugging
Ducking
you
for cover.
tighter than a face hugger.
Yeah, tighter than no, I don't think, like, I think sometimes blood, guts, and heart, like, you don't really pay attention to much, but this movie is all of that, and they pretty good.
It kind of reminded me of The Thing. In some
I thought about The Thing a lot during this.
Yeah, this is the original would have been like 3 years before The Thing.
I'm getting a lot of thumbs up. I'm sure we're missing out, but there was definitely one was just on my face.
We could do some fast ones. Do this. Wait, no.
Now it does nothing. Whatever. Go fuck yourself.
Hey.
All right. I like makeup. Their accents are pretty strong here. British, Australian, bro. I didn't know what they were saying.
So the original is Sir Ridley Scott. You forgot to mention that when you Wikipedia'd him.
My apologies, Sir Ridley.
So that's why you do have a lot of Brits involved in this series, and there's a lot of lore in terms of the company. They reference the company in this. Yeah. There's a big name for it. It's like called like Wexham Limited or something like that.
Yeah, we saw them on the.
Yeah. So they're an ever-present thing in all the movies. Honestly, I feel like this inspired a little bit of Resident Evil to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It stands the test of time where it's a very influential movie, but I think you want to go for final thoughts and ratings?
We can go for final thoughts and rating, and I'm glad this is a good movie to come back to before we say anything else. I think.
Yeah, to think before we get into final thoughts and ratings, you, my good sir, have missed M. Night Shyamalan's Trap.
How was that?
To quote Admiral Akbar, it was a trap.
It's a trap.
And then
was it that bad?
I thought it was okay. Pete said it was hot trash. I think I'm doing
take
a
Pete.
solid. Yeah.
You
respect Pete.
I respect Pete's. Yeah. I respect Pete's riding chops. So yeah.
I have a lot of criticism over Trap, and we can go over that another time. But I gave it like a soft 3, but I can see why I would want to lean 2.
Did he give it a 1?
I think he gave it like a 1 or a half, something like that.
It's not possible. We don't do half stars.
Yeah, on our scale,
No.
So it would have been a 1. But so
Okay.
you missed that, and you missed Borderlands.
Oh, which I've heard it might be the worst movie of all time. Maybe not even the year. Like Madam, I've been seeing the memes. You said Madam Web 11%. Oh, you thought this?
Madam Web's looking down its nose like
11% all of a sudden looks pretty good. A little bit hard to get, baby. Final thoughts or ratings, Alien Romulus. I'll go first. Gotta say, as someone who's only ever seen parts of Alien versus Predator, it's so funny. I've seen Alien versus Predator on FX so many times, which now that I'm older, I know that's a bad sign, right?
That's
like,
an FX and TNT Sunday.
Like just on a repeat for 4 hours, Alien versus Predator. And I never got able to finish it, but when I knew it was finally a bad movie was when I finally made it to the end, and I'm like, why are they working together? Don't you hunt for fun? Anyway, So that being said, having little to no exposure to the Aliens franchise, I gotta say, my expectations didn't have a lot. I just didn't want it to suck, and it didn't suck, which I think in today's day and world is that's a great thing. I think the visual effects are cool. All the other stuff is cool. It's nothing new. You've seen this story before. People trying to escape, but they do enough things right, and I feel like they change things up enough. It's still a little bit too long for my taste. Not everything's perfect. Dumb decisions are made, but it's a horror flick. You have to have dumb decisions. And I really actually wanted to give this movie a 4. But for the length. And the dumbest decision of all, which, spoiler alert, this is why it's not a 4. And it's for the last scene when she pulls the thing. How did you know? How the fuck did you know?
I mean, that aside from her grip.
Yeah. No,
You're in the middle of space.
Yeah. Grip, not only that. You're on the last one.
I'm just going to honk.
Alien! 3 could have been a 4. Probably is a 4, but it's a 3 for me.
For me, as a fan of the franchise, as someone who had to endure that lore, because around Prometheus times, it was rough. I will say. It was rough. My dad and I went to Prometheus. You don't even know how mad he was when he left that theater. He was like, where the fuck were the aliens? I think this is a really fun experience. I think this is a perfect popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Not a perfect movie. I think if you're looking to be entertained, if you're looking for fun action, great suspense, this is a great combination of horror and sci-fi. It's coming from a director that really knows what he's doing with horror. So it doesn't surprise me that he can do that here. My issues come with some of the logistical things that we talked about, coming from the characters. I completely forgot that she just lifted herself out of space. Yeah. I just kind of discounted that. That's why we kept doing Italian hands during the entire movie, and we're like, what is this? As a movie, it movies hard.
It does movie hard.
As a film, I don't think it's quite there yet. And if you're going to compare it to the original, I think it is a great homage to the original. I think it's a worthy addition to the series, an interquel. It doesn't live up to the original. It does, however, beat out a lot of the later films. Yeah. Sorry, David Fincher. With that being said, I think this is an above mid movie, but I do think it's a safe movie. If I had to compare it to anything else, I would say this is like The Force Awakens. I think it was like just safe, playing things by the numbers, kind of recycling the same ideas from the original, doing it basically the same way, not reinventing the wheel, but not living up to its original. I'm going to give it a 4.
Wow, you locked it on the 4.
I locked it on the 4. I threw you through it. Yeah. I think a lot of stupid things were happening, but you know what? I think we said this before in season 1. A 4 is a perfect movie with imperfect mistakes that you can forgive.
It didn't change the way you look at the world. I think 5's like why people love 5. So when they leave the theater, which is what really art is, you're not the same. Something in you has changed or moved, even if it's just a small little thing. And that's what I think a 5 for me is, that I'm different now, or like the way I look at the world's not the same anymore, or it captured something that's like true about the world, or entertained me so much that like I forgot about the world behind me. This has been another episode of Take 3 or 3. Thanks so much for watching. Tell us what you think about the new setup. I actually kind of liked it. It's so crazy when we want it to happen, it doesn't do it. It's such a piece of shit.
Maybe because, it is.
So tell us go enjoy it. I think it's a classic summer movie, a horror movie that's not terrible. This gives me a lot of Evil Dead Rising vibes. That's the last thing I want to say about it. Make sure you follow us on Take 303 on Spotify and Take.303 on Instagram. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or anywhere you're watching us. Make sure to hit the like, follow, whatever it is.
I thought that was you.
Farting? I thought they saw our fireworks on the screen, and now they're doing it up there.
I thought you were letting it rip, and you were like trying to hide it by talking so much.
Yeah. Well, this week's question of the week is: if you've seen Aliens, what is your favorite Aliens movie and why? And finally, this week's poll question of the week is...
Alien versus Predator. Who should win?
Who do you think, Alien versus Predator, who is better? Alien, Predator, Predator plus Human. Who is the best of those? Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time when we watch whatever's coming out of the theater, supposedly. Probably get upset because it sucks. Bye-bye.